Welcome everyone to the Power in Your Voice podcast. I am your host, Linda, where we'll be talking about life experience and how it's meant to keep you moving. Often we get up and we mask our hurt and our pain. Yes, that's what I said, life experience. We all have them. So we're going to learn here to deal with our issues and achieve goals because every power has a story. Welcome back to the Power in Your Voice podcast. It is always our pleasure to come and talk with you on a Saturday morning. You all, we have a great topic today, and it is talking about interruptions. I have a great cast with me, and you know who they are. I have my husband, Daniel Palmer Lee. I have my daughter, Jalen Ebony. I have David Yan. I have Jada. You hear grandchildren, you hear daughters, and we are here to talk about interruption because they come, you all, when we are least expected from time to time. So y'all, let's gather in and let's have this conversation and let's do some dialoguing on this word called interruption, because some of it is good and some of it is bad. Come on, let's talk about it. Jalen, what you got to say about this interruption?
I think of good and bad interruptions. And then you could also think about bad interruptions that turn good. Because like for me, with this pandemic at first, I hated it. My whole life went on pause. This was just a big interruption. I was going every day to now everything stopping. And I'm at home every day, doing work, doing school, at home all day. And it was just a big interruption. But then after I got past the emotions of, man, I'm ready to get back out there and blah, blah, blah. And I started realizing, I was like, oh man, working from home, not bad. And then I was able to start traveling and like just taking my work computer with me wherever I went to just set up. So that was a bad interruption that turned good. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still traveling safely, just to put that out there. Like I'm not outside, but I am outside.
I tell you, you know, talking about this interruption, I just went home to a family reunion, and I tell you, we had an amazing time there. And all of a sudden on a Sunday morning, I got a bad interruption. And when that interruption came, it hurted so bad. So life can give you something that you can be on a high on, and then all of a sudden, it's like life can get knocked out of you. That was a big interruption, and we still yet dealing with that interruption. So some interruptions you just can't get over right then. You got to deal with that. So come on, Daniel, talk to me about this interruption.
So the thing about interruptions, I was listening earlier, and I believe that some of us compare interruptions to distractions. And the thing about an interruption, it steals whatever's going on at that time. It stops you from moving forward. And I look at a distraction as something that takes your focus. So, you know, I kind of compare it to things that happen in your life. Like when you are doing things, you're accomplishing things, you're being successful. Do you get interrupted or do you get distracted?
Wow.
You know, on your journey, which one is it? And which one of those is the most severe? Is the interruption the most severe? Or is it the distraction most severe? Because both of them takes you off of your path. But I think that sometimes we can get them intertwined or mixed up, because an interruption, it's gonna stop you, pause you right there. But a distraction takes your focus from the things that you are doing.
I like the fact that what my husband Daniel talked about, he talked about interruption or a distraction. When you are distracted, that just means that something got in your way. But this interruption, y'all, let me tell you something. It has caused some pain. It has caused some severe pain. It is caused where people don't know whether they should continue to go on. Do they go backwards? Are they at a standstill? This thing of interruption is real. It is not like your Wi-Fi. It is not like somebody just came in and said something negative to you. This thing has hit home. This thing has made us rethink. It has made us recapture. So what I want to know tonight, how do we get our thinking process together when these things happen in our life? Y'all, interruption is real. I remember when my husband and we had to go home because my mother-in-law took sick. Y'all, everything, our schedules, everything was interrupted because we had to go and take the mission and do what we had to do. What do you say about that, Daniel?
So you got to keep your mind steadfast on what you have before you. So even though interruptions and distractions come, you still got to have the mindset to move forward. And if you don't have a mindset to move forward, then that means that interruption has broken your concentration. That means the interruption has stopped you from being successful. So even people can have setbacks to be set up. So every interruption, every distraction, sometimes it's a setup. You just got to know when you get distracted or interrupted, keep your focus. You just got to know how to keep your focus.
I like that because see, Jada, earlier, your distraction caused you to cry. Come on, let's talk about it. That thing got serious. And even though I may not look at it as serious as you have looked at it because it was a distraction to what happened with you. Let's talk about it. That distraction is real, y'all. It will bring tears. I like how someone else said it. They said, you're not fair in the when distractions come or when interruptions come. You're not fair about how you won't let me vent, but you will let others vent. Come on, let's talk about that for a second.
That's good. That brings back to my remembrance from yesterday. I was watching one of my preachers and churches that I watch. And in the midst of it, the lady was, grabbing all of these things in her hand. And she said, the big picture is right here in front of you. But because you got so much going on here and you're not willing to go to that quiet place, or you're not willing to put some of that down or to refocus, you now delay yourself. So I think of interruptions today, it's bringing me back to that from yesterday. You got to put some of this stuff out of your hand. And yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it hurts. It takes you to all these different roller coasters of emotions. But the main focus is put your focus on the big picture. Because if you don't focus in and zoom in, like they say, and the reason why I say focus is because when I zoom in, on that spot on the wall, that means nothing else is going to matter. You may have to cry while you're zooming in. You may have to just scream of frustration while you're zooming in. But the point is, you got to let some of that stuff go because it's going to delay you. It's going to hinder you. Or you might not even make it to where you desire to be because of the interruptions.
Wow, that's good. What you say, Jayla?
I think I would definitely like to piggyback off of that emotions, because emotions are huge. It's a huge factor when interruptions come. When interruptions come, it can cause you to be frustrated. It could cause you to be angry. You could be sad. You could be hurt. Like whatever these emotions come with, because interruptions don't come by themselves, they bring baggage.
That's right.
So you have to learn how to handle these emotions, and we keep saying you got to just learn how to focus, but you also have to learn how to address your emotions in the place that you're in and understand that it's okay for me to feel this way because something unexpected has happened. But you don't just linger in that bitterness or in that sadness or in that hurt. You learn how to say, okay, well, this has happened and this is how I feel, but how do I go from here? Where do I go from here? With what has happened, how do I learn how to keep moving?
I love it. You have brought up, my goodness, some great points. How do I go from here? And that's where I'm going to leave you. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and let God come in, y'all. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. I cannot tell you nothing else but to go to God, and he'll give us the wisdom, he'll give us the knowledge and the understanding. It is always our pleasure. Thank all of the ones that have been on here to help us discuss what we are talking about, being interrupted. I'll talk to you next week. God bless. Peace out. I would like to thank you for tuning in to this podcast today. Remember, if your situation is not challenged, it cannot change. If this conversation has been a blessing to you, hit me up on my social media in the link below. I would love to hear from you. Also, take a second to share this podcast with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your associates. Everybody is welcome to the Power in Your Voice family.